Hi, this is Toby and welcome to Schlumbergera from Buds to Bloom 2023. And right now it's autumn, the days are getting shorter and the temperatures are also getting lower, and that actually triggers your Schlumbergera to produce buds. They use the length of day and night to kind of determine when they grow the buds. So if you grow them indoors, they might not bloom properly for you, but because I keep them out here, they're doing really well. You can see all of my plants have buds on them. That's really nice. The ones over there, even this large one that I found outside that someone left in front of our house that no one wanted, even this one's producing buds. Even my small Caribbean dancer here, that's the cultivar name, is producing buds. I do have some Schlumbergera seedlings over there that aren't going to be producing buds because they're still quite small, but these are growing quite nicely and they will bloom soon. And when the buds get a bit bigger, I'll show you an update. And this video will just cover the entire process from Schlumbergera, from growing these buds to when the flowers open. So here's another update of the Schlumbergera buds. You see they're developing quite nicely. I don't water them as often either because it does get quite cold at night. Single digits. Sometimes they're down to around 5 degrees Celsius at night. And we did have some strong winds yesterday, and you can see some of the limbs of some of the plants did come off. But that's okay. I'm not even sure which plant this one came off. It could have been from my Christmas fantasy, it could have been from that one, it could have been from this plant, but I'm just gonna put that back. It could still bloom. But doing very well, and some of the buds are going to open soon, and when the first flower opens, I will show you. So the Schlumbergera have opened. There's a flower here. I'll see if I can show you. It's in an awkward position, but this is Christmas flame, I believe. And see if I can just do this. You can see it's a nice golden pinkish color. Now, it was quite cold a few days ago, and when it does get a bit cold, what I find is that the Schlumbergera, all the flowers, regardless of their color, will have a reddish tinge. As in, the color will go slightly red. So for my Christmas fantasy, this pink, it'll go a bit darker. For this, it will actually resemble more of Christmas fantasy when it gets really cold. Now, the big Schlumbergera I have here, it's starting to open. It looks like a light pink, or it could actually be a white colored Schlumbergera, but because it's cold, it's actually gone a bit pink. Same with this. I think these two might be the same variety, but I'm not sure. I'll have to see. But anyways, they're doing really well. This is a Schlumbergera update, and this is kind of around the peak of flowering, where most of them are flowering at the same time. I'm getting a lot of color. Even the Caribbean dancer here is almost starting to flower. Now, one thing I should talk about is every time Schlumbergera flower, the plant will go limp, and it will stay like that for quite a while. And that's a combination of being cold and me not watering it as much, and the plant is using a lot of energy on the blooms. Take a detailed look at some of the flowers. This one hasn't really quite opened yet, and again there's one branch that's got Christmas fantasy on it because I think someone stuck a wrong cutting, but that's okay. Let's look at the one that I got, or rather I showed you in a different video where I rejuvenated it. This is what the flower looks like. Quite standard Schlumbergera flower, a pale pink, similar to this. I think this is Christmas flame. You can see a very nice pink center, and it's quite golden on the outside. And this will go a bit red when it gets colder. So that's something I've noticed, that it kind of merges with the color of Christmas fantasy once it gets really cold. Now, Christmas fantasy is the one I've had for the longest. Let's just show you that flower right there. Nice pink flowers. And there was this one branch that produced this flower that looked kind of variegated. I'll see if I can find that branch. I did take a cutting off of that branch, and it did produce some kind of variegated flowers. I'll see if I can show you. If I'm wondering, that cutting's going to bloom this season. I don't think it. No, it didn't produce any buds. That's a shame. But in one of the older videos, you would have seen a picture of that flower. It does look quite different from the standard one. I'll have to find it. It's somewhere in there. You can see there's obviously a lot of congestion. There's also this purple one here, and that's also really nice. I really like this purple one. And I did have a red one, but it's somewhere in there, and it hasn't produced blooms either this season. I know it's a bit unkempt. It's right here. Let me just see. No, it's only got a tiny bud, so I don't think it's going to bloom. I also have this different type of Schlumbergera. I'm pretty sure it's a different species. It's also got buds, you can see, but that's gonna take a bit longer to bloom. I think this might be what is commonly called the Christmas cactus, because it seems like it's going to bloom a few months after these. Whereas if you're in the northern hemisphere, just think about it as a northern hemisphere, because currently in Australia we're in the south. These would probably bloom, I would say, around Thanksgiving. That's why they call it Thanksgiving cactus, around November-ish. Right now it's June, and those probably will bloom in Christmas, so that should be a different species. We come here to the Caribbean dancer again. I've never had this many blooms on it. I don't know why, this one never really picks up vigor, but this season did really well. It always produces these little lumps. I still don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a disease or not, but it seems to be a lot happier this season. It's pretty much doubled in size this season as well. In the previous seasons it barely grew at all, but it's picked up now. And you can see very nice blooms. When these open I will show you, but the flowers are a lot smaller than those. But the color is a lot better. So here's another update of the Schlumbergera. A lot of the Christmas flame is starting to wilt now, the flowers. Same with the Christmas fantasy. The big one looking really nice. Now the Caribbean dancer here has finally bloomed, and we're getting a lot more blooms this season, so that's really good. Look at the red of it. It's got this kind of pinkish tone as well. It's quite small. If I just show you my hand next to it, it's not the biggest flower you can see compared to these. It's a lot bigger, but still very nice. But yeah, here's another Schlumbergera flower update. This type of Schlumbergera has started to bloom. There's one here, which means there's another branch in the back that's a different type. Let me show you the blooms. It's slightly different. If I show you the shape from the side, I think you can see it's different. If you look back on this video when the other ones were in bloom, the flowers weren't shaped like this. So this should be a different species. I've also got my smaller one here blooming. It's a bit limp because I haven't watered it and it's been quite cold. The only downside of this plant is it did get a bit damaged by something, the flower bud here. So that's a bit unfortunate. I'm just checking to make sure there's nothing still in there. There shouldn't be. But I've got another bud here. When this opens, I think I'll show you, and I'm going to end the video. So this is a final update of the Schlumbergera. You can see the small one, this is blooming for the first time. Again, it's got a different shaped flower, so that's very interesting. It's probably or definitely a different species to those. Those are truncata hybrids. This, again, I don't know what species it is, but it still looks quite cool. You can see the Schlumbergera flower. It certainly resembles this a lot more. Let's see, what's the flower of it there? Let's see if I can show you that. These aren't truncatas because they're not blooming at the same time as the truncatas, but they're also quite nice. So I won't show you these opening, but anyways, thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I will answer them. But anyways, thanks for watching the video and I'll see you next one. Bye.